Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military leaders and statesmen. Today, we're going to explore the life of Bernhard von Bülow, a name that may not be as well known as some of his contemporaries, but whose impact on European politics and warfare was significant. Born into a world of aristocratic privilege and diplomatic intrigue, Bernhard von Bülow would go on to become one of Germany's most influential statesmen of the early 20th century. As we step back in time, let us imagine the grand estates and manicured gardens of Klein-Flottbeck, a small but picturesque village near Altona, which is now part of Hamburg, Germany. It was here, on May 3, 1849, that Bernhard von Bülow was born, amidst the lingering echoes of the revolutions of 1848. The air was thick with the promise of change, as the old European order trembled and new nation-states began to take shape. The von Bülow family, with their long history of producing diplomats, politicians, and military officers, stood at the forefront of this tumultuous era. Bernhard's father, Bernhard Ernst von Bülow, was a senior civil servant who would later serve as the Minister of Trade and Commerce for the Kingdom of Denmark. His mother, Louise von Bülow, came from a similarly distinguished lineage with roots in the German nobility. As a child, Bernhard grew up surrounded by the trappings of aristocracy, lavish parties, elaborate hunting expeditions, and high-stakes diplomatic gatherings. Yet, beneath the surface of this rarefied world, the young Bernhard was being groomed for greatness. The von Bülow family's estates in Schleswig-Holstein, a region that would become a focal point of tension between Germany and Denmark, provided a unique perspective on the complexities of European politics. The rolling hills, verdant forests, and sparkling lakes of this picturesque landscape belied the simmering tensions that would eventually boil over into conflict. As a young boy, Bernhard would often accompany his father on diplomatic missions to Copenhagen, where he would watch in awe as statesmen and diplomats navigated the treacherous waters of international politics. The von Bülow family's social standing and connections also meant that Bernhard was exposed to a wide range of influential figures from an early age. His father's position in the Danish government brought him into contact with leading politicians and diplomats of the time, including Otto von Bismarck, who would later become a mentor and patron to the young Bernhard. These early interactions instilled in Bernhard a deep understanding of the inner workings of European politics and the importance of building relationships with key power brokers. As Bernhard grew older, he began to develop a keen interest in history, philosophy, and literature, pursuits that were encouraged by his family. He spent hours poring over the works of great historians like Leopold von Ranke and philosophers like Immanuel Kant, developing a nuanced understanding of the complex forces that shaped European politics and society. This intellectual curiosity, combined with his family's diplomatic connections, laid the foundation for Bernhard's future success as a statesman and politician. The early years of Bernhard von Bülow's life were marked by a series of significant events that would shape his character and future path. The Austro-Prussian War of 1866, which resulted in the dissolution of the German Confederation and the rise of Prussia as a dominant power in Europe, had a profound impact on the young Bernhard. He watched as his family's estates in Schleswig-Holstein became a focal point of tension between Germany and Denmark, and he began to appreciate the complexities of European politics and the importance of diplomacy in preventing conflict. As Bernhard entered his late teens, he began to consider a career in public service, following in the footsteps of his father and other notable figures in his family. He was drawn to the world of diplomacy, where he could apply his knowledge of history, languages, and politics to help shape the course of European events. With the guidance of his family and mentors like Bismarck, Bernhard von Bülow set out on a path that would take him to the highest echelons of German politics and ultimately to the center of a maelstrom of international intrigue and conflict. In the years that followed, Bernhard would find himself at the forefront of some of the most pivotal events in European history. He would navigate the treacherous waters of alliances and rivalries, forging relationships with key leaders and navigating the complex web of interests that defined the continent. As Bernhard von Bülow navigated the intricate labyrinth of European politics, he found himself inexorably drawn into the orbit of Otto von Bismarck, the legendary German statesman who would become a mentor and patron to the young diplomat. The year was 1876, and Bülow's formal diplomatic career was about to commence as an attaché at the German embassy in Paris, a posting that would prove pivotal in shaping his understanding of the complexities of international relations. As he immersed himself in the vibrant cultural landscape of the City of Light, Bülow quickly distinguished himself with his remarkable linguistic skills, cultural sophistication, and keen grasp of the nuances that underpinned European politics. The Parisian sojourn was a formative experience for Bülow, as it allowed him to develop a profound appreciation for the intricacies of French politics and society. He spent countless hours engaging with prominent figures, including the venerable French statesman and historian, François Guizot, whose insights into the workings of the French government proved invaluable to the young diplomat. These connections not only broadened Bülow's understanding of European politics, but also provided him with a unique perspective on the inner machinations of the French establishment. As he rose through the diplomatic ranks, Bülow's reputation as a skilled and knowledgeable diplomat spread far and wide, earning him recognition from his peers and superiors alike. In 1880, Bülow was appointed as the German ambassador to Bucharest, Romania, a posting that would prove crucial in shaping his understanding of the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defined Eastern European politics. As he navigated the treacherous waters of regional diplomacy, Bülow played a key role in maintaining the delicate balance of power between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia. He skillfully leveraged his relationships with regional leaders to further German interests, demonstrating a deep understanding of the intricate dance of alliances and rivalries that characterized the region. One notable example of Bülow's diplomatic prowess during this period was his masterful negotiation of a trade agreement between Germany and Romania. This landmark accord not only strengthened economic ties between the two nations, but also helped to secure Germany's position as a dominant power in the region. The achievement earned him widespread recognition and praise from his contemporaries, solidifying his reputation as a master diplomat with an uncanny ability to navigate the complexities of international relations. As Bülow continued to ascend the ranks of German diplomacy, he found himself increasingly drawn into the inner circle of Chancellor Bismarck, who valued his counsel and insight on matters of international relations. In 1897, Bülow was appointed as the State Secretary for Foreign Affairs, a position that placed him at the very heart of German foreign policy. From this vantage point, he played a crucial role in shaping Germany's response to the emerging crises of the late 19th century, including the scramble for colonies in Africa and the escalating tensions between European powers. Throughout his career, Bülow remained committed to the principles of realpolitik, which emphasized the pursuit of national interests through pragmatic and flexible diplomacy. As he navigated the treacherous waters of international politics, he consistently demonstrated a deep understanding of the complex interplay between power, interest, and ideology that shaped the behavior of nations. His approach was characterized by a keen sense of nuance and a willingness to adapt to changing circumstances, qualities that earned him the respect and admiration of his peers. As Bülow's star continued to rise, he found himself at the forefront of some of the most pivotal events in European history, including the Algeciras Conference of 1906, which aimed to resolve the First Moroccan crisis. His masterful diplomacy during this period helped to prevent a wider conflict and secured Germany's position as a major player on the world stage. Through his tireless efforts, Bülow played a significant role in shaping the course of European history, leaving an indelible mark on the continent's politics and society. In the years that followed, Bülow would continue to navigate the complexities of international relations, forging alliances, managing rivalries, and adapting to the shifting landscape of global power. As he looked out upon the tumultuous landscape of early 20th century Europe, Bülow remained steadfast in his conviction that diplomacy, when practiced with skill and nuance, could be a powerful tool for shaping the course of history. As the years went by, Bernhard von Bülow's influence on German politics began to wane, and he eventually resigned as chancellor in 1909, marking the end of an era for the man who had once been the mastermind behind Germany's rise to prominence. Despite this, he remained a prominent figure in European diplomacy, continuing to serve as a member of the Reichstag and offering his expertise to the German government. much like a seasoned general still advising on battle strategy long after the war has ended. In his later years, Bülow turned his attention to writing, penning several memoirs and essays on international relations, including his notable work, Imperial Germany, which provided valuable insights into the inner workings of the German Empire. Shedding light on the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that had defined European politics for decades, one of Bülow's most significant contributions during this period was his role in shaping the German response to the outbreak of World War I. Although he was no longer in office, his expertise and experience were still highly valued, and he played a key advisory role in the early years of the war, much like a wise old strategist guiding his successors through the treacherous landscape of modern warfare. As the conflict dragged on, however, Bülow's views on the war effort became increasingly critical, and he began to speak out against the German military's aggressive tactics, warning of the devastating consequences of unchecked nationalism and militarism. His words, though, fell on deaf ears, as the war machine had already gained too much momentum, leaving him to wonder if his life's work had been for naught. In the aftermath of the war, Bülow's reputation as a statesman and diplomat was somewhat tarnished by his association with the defeated German Empire. Nevertheless, he continued to be respected for his intellect and his commitment to the principles of realpolitik, which, though often misunderstood, had always guided his actions as a diplomat. As he looked back on his life's work, Bülow reflected on the complexities of international relations, observing that the art of diplomacy is not to make war impossible, but to make it unnecessary, a statement that would become a hallmark of his legacy, echoing through the annals of history as a reminder of the enduring power of diplomacy in shaping the course of human events. As Bülow's life drew to a close, he couldn't help but ponder the what-ifs of history, wondering if things might have turned out differently had his counsel been heeded. He thought back to the days of Bismarck, when Germany was still a young and ambitious nation, full of promise and potential. He remembered the intricate dance of alliances and rivalries that had defined European politics for decades, and how he had navigated this treacherous landscape with skill and cunning. And though his own legacy would be forever tied to the tumultuous events of the early 20th century, Bülow remained proud of his achievements, knowing that he had always acted with integrity and a deep commitment to the principles of diplomacy. Bernhard von Bülow passed away on October 28, 1929, at the age of 80, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most skilled and influential diplomats of his era. Today, he is remembered as a master strategist who played a significant role in shaping the course of European history, his name etched alongside those of Bismarck and other giants of German diplomacy. He was a true statesman, driven by a deep understanding of the complexities of human nature and the workings of international relations. His commitment to the principles of realpolitik may have been pragmatic, but it was also rooted in a profound respect for the power of diplomacy to shape the course of human events, a respect that would serve as a guiding principle throughout his long and distinguished career. And though the world he knew is now lost to history, his ideas and insights remain, offering valuable lessons for those seeking to navigate the complexities of our own tumultuous era. In the end, Bülow's story serves as a reminder that even in the most turbulent of times, there is always room for nuance, subtlety, and strategic thinking. As we navigate our own complex world, we would do well to remember the lessons of this remarkable diplomat who once observed that the greatest enemy of peace is not war, but the lack of imagination, a statement that remains as relevant today as it was when he first uttered it. For in a world where the pace of change is accelerating by the day and the stakes are higher than ever before, we need leaders like Bülow, men and women of vision and imagination, who can see beyond the horizon and guide us towards a brighter future. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.